Hi everyone, it is me, Sailor Neptune, Sailor SeaWorld, Michelle here, and today we're going to talk about why Deke and Cloverway had to shift anyone who was unstraight in Sailor Moon. Now, the unstraight in Sailor Moon would most likely be Fisheye, but even before Fisheye, even before us, you had Zoisite. And we now, in every other offshoot of Sailor Moon, Zoisite is a man. Now, in the 9 between 90 YL take on Sailor Moon, the one that everyone knows of because it was the first one ever done, Zoisite was unstraight. Now, when Deke got the rights to work with Sailor Moon, Deke had to shift Zoisite from a man to a woman. And the only way they did this was by hiring show player Kirsten Bishop, who is no longer alive anymore. God bless her soul. She would be one who would do all the speaking for Zoisite. Now, later on, in the 2-diff following, Deke didn't have to worry about that. When Cloverway ended up getting the rights to the 3-diff and the 4-diff following, then Cloverway had to deal with Sarah Uranus or Sailor Skyworld, Amara, Sailor Neptune, Sailor SeaWorld, Michelle, myself, because we were also unstraight lovers. Now, what were they going to do? They could not shift us into women since we were already women, so that wouldn't work. Now, the only thing that the folks at Cloverway could do was to shift our kinship to being near kin, that we were in the same kin, and that we were near kin to each other. And we grew up, almost around the same time, and we've been around each other for years, so we are mostly, near kin who had gotten a near bond. Now, I know a lot of folks out there would say that, oh yeah, we know they're unstraight lovers. You didn't do a good work, Cloverway, of skimming that or cleaning that. But whatever, it passed. By the time the 4 following happened, there was Fisheye. Now, there are some folks in the Sailor Moon followership who have a belief that Fisheye was unstraight. And I'm not going to go against that belief. But you see, Fisheye being unstraight, if that is true, meant that Cloverway once again would have to shift a man to a woman. And they hired another show player to speak for Fisheye. And this Fisheye became a woman. Now, after the 4 following, Deke and Cloverway didn't have anything to do with Sailor Moon anymore. Well, to be earnest with you, no other business really didn't have the rights to deal with any works of Sailor Moon until Viz. Now, a lot of folks might say, oh, why did Viz didn't have to do anything with Zoisite or anything with Fisheye or anything with, Mara and myself, Michelle, or why they didn't really have to do anything with the Sailor Starlights. Now, there's a held belief that the grounds to why the 5th following Sailor Stars never gotten put into English by any business in the 4 and 4-1 Reichs or the settled land was that, oh no, there's unstraight folks. Now, you had the free lights who were a songster team, but they're really the Sailor Starlights. They were free men, but when they shapeshifted, they became women. And I believe at the end of the day, Cloverway, Pioneer, whoever ended up getting the rights to Sailor Stars would have had a hard way to shift free men into women, since they shape-shifted into women when they shape-shifted into being sailor fighters. So a lot of folks seem to believe that was the grounds for why Sailor Stars never gotten work. The true grounds is that Sailor Stars never got picked up because Cloverway and Pioneer, both of them lit the deal a lap, and the deal came to an end in 2003 YL, and Cloverway and Business and Pioneer, neither of them wanted to get a new deal from Toei, so that's why the Sailor Stars never gotten put into English until Viz, but that would be years later. And a lot of folks will say, well, why did Viz didn't have to do anything? Because by the time Viz got the rights to work with Sailor Moon, the mindset, the stand, the understanding, the trusting of the whole thing was unlike. So Viz didn't have to worry about Zoisite being unstraight, and didn't have to worry about, Sailor Uranus, Sailor Skyworld, or Sailor Neptune, Sailor SeaWorld, myself being unstraight. They didn't have to worry about Fisheye being unstraight, if that was true. They didn't have to worry about, the Sailor Starlights, Sailor Star Maker, Fighter, and Healer, Jordan, Dustin, and Julian being unstraight, or at least being straight, and then becoming women after they shapeshifted into becoming sailor fighters. But at the end of the day, a lot of folks, before I end this film, like to say that Sailor Moon was the first show to ever have unstraight sails in it. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if Sailor Moon was the first drawing show and drawing film out there to have unstraight selves in it. There may have been others, but a lot of folks like to believe that Sailor Moon was the first drawing show and drawing film to have unstraight selves in it. But I don't know if that's true. And I know if you did a lot of looking, we might learn that there were other drawing shows and drawing films out there who came from Dawnland or other lands that may have had unstraight selves in them too. Now, anyway, at the end of the day, and a lot of folks might say, does that mean that they were unstraight in the books? Now, the truth was Zoisite was straight in the books, and it was true that Fisheye was straight in the books too, and me and Sarah Uranus, Sailor Skyworld, we were straight in the books. I guess we were. But at the end of the day, it's hard to tell if we were or were not. And anyway, that was dealing with the unstraight and Sailor Moon, and how Deke and Cloverway dealt with it, how Viz didn't have to deal with it, and why there had to be a standard at the time about why Deke and Cloverway had to do anything to it. Because at the time, before I end this film, there were a lot of, bearers and keepers. There were a lot of folks out there who believed that if you were doing a play or film or show for children, and you had anything to do with unstraight, that was a no-no. That's what they believed, So Deke didn't want to be in that bind. Cloverway didn't want to be in that bind of someone bitching at the Folkworks about a show they just watched that had unstraight selves in it. And then the Folkworks, WB, UPN, Fox, USA, Cartoon, YTV, whatever, telling them, oh, you can't do the show now because folks saying the unstraight cells, made it where it was a no-go. But by the time Viz got the rights to work with it, that mindset, that stand had gone away. More folks were more open-minded and trusting and understanding of that. And most folks these days would get scathed if they didn't have anyone who wasn't unstraight in any film, show, or play. Now, that's just my take of what happened. If you like this film, then follow me over here to Jordan Long Fairway. Watch the other film that we made earlier this morning with Sarah Uranus, Sailor Skyworld, Amara, made her film. Don't forget to share, and playlist and thumb up this film. Don't forget to hit that bind to know when the next film following us. And don't forget to hit that ringer when you want to know the next upload, live stream, or short's been done. I, Sailor Neptune, Sailor SeaWorld, Michelle, and I'll see you later. Goodbye. Farewell.